Jessica Tarlov is the lone liberal on Fox News' The Five. How she tolerates being around these insufferable people, I don't know. But there was a very interesting segment in this show. You know, the Trump team knows the economy is not going well. And that is why Trump is on the road. That's why he went to Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania yesterday and started trying to convince people that everything is great. It's why Trump has stopped releasing jobs numbers. It's why Trump has stopped releasing inflation numbers. It's why Trump has decided to delay or rather cancel the advanced GDP reading, waiting instead for the final GDP reading. They know that they are in trouble. But increasingly, they also want to blame Biden for anything that appears to be going wrong. Trump is trying to argue that it was Biden who set the economy on fire, and Trump is putting the fire out. Jessica Tarlov on Fox was prepared for this. Imagine having to deal with this every day at work.
Jessica, one of the things that President Trump will do, no doubt, is to remind people that the economy that he inherited from Biden was the one that ramped up inflation. So because the media will always pick up on Democratic attacks like Shapiro, Newsom, et cetera, then President Trump, I think, getting out there will at least try to prevent any ground being gained by Democrats there.
Now, let me just make a quick pause. Can someone tell me in what way Biden ramped up inflation? When Joe Biden took office, as global inflation was going up, it peaked around 9% early in Biden's term because of the pandemic. And then inflation came down in the United States faster than in other wealthy Western developed countries. And it came down to a lower level than in other equivalent countries around the world. And it was bouncing between 2.5% and 3% when Joe Biden left office. And it remains bouncing between 2.5% and 3% right now. In what way did Biden ramp up inflation? Doesn't matter. Dana Perino is committed to the talking point. All right.
He's going to try to, but the argument that the guy who's been out for a year, that it's all his fault when you've implemented a totally new economic agenda and that it's a failure in basically every corner of it is not really resonating with people. When Joe Biden's inflation number was over 9%, the entire world's inflation number was up. Donald Trump doesn't have the same issues that Joe Biden did. He doesn't have a supply chain problem. He doesn't have a global health pandemic that was killing millions of people all over the world. He's just setting our economy on fire and not in the good way. And
yeah, but Jessica, he's a Republican, so he can do no wrong.
Dumpster fire way. The A++++ grade, obviously that's ridiculous. But there are some key indicators that Donald Trump and his administration knows that this is going really badly. First, Susie Wiles having to go out there and say he's going to get back on the campaign trail. That'll really animate the right. Well, guess what? It'll animate the left as well. We aren't getting the jobs numbers anymore, the GDP numbers, or the inflation numbers. And we know that Donald Trump, if a number is even remotely
Jessica making just about every point I'm making here.
Good, or he can lie about it, he tells you what it is. Layoffs on track for Great Recession levels. ABC says 70% are spending more on their groceries, 60% more on utilities. Reuters, manufacturing has been contracting for 9 months straight. And this farmer bailout, $12 billion of his tariff pot, which he didn't need to put the tariffs in the first place. And the farmers are speaking out about this. This is Donald Trump's problem. He's the one who caused this. The head of the National Black Farmers Association, agriculture in this country has been in complete turbulence and turmoil since the president got elected.
This is a very good summary of the absurdity of blaming the economic circumstances of today on Joe Biden. But there is going to be a bigger political problem here, I believe, for Donald Trump, which is that Americans knew when Biden's administration was saying everything's fine, that things weren't fine. And that was a real problem for Biden when he was the candidate and ultimately for Kamala Harris. And it was part of why Kamala Harris lost. We are seeing that in triplicate right now. And Trump's tariffs are really negatively affecting manufacturing. We saw that the promise of lower prices turned into prices that keep going up, not faster than under Biden, but they just keep going up. And that's not what was promised. And as we get into 2026, voters are going to say to themselves, not only has Donald Trump achieved what he promised he would do I believe that I am better off now than when Donald Trump took office? And I know it's so sort of cliche to even bring that up. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever? But as acutely as I can remember, we are hearing from diverse groups of people, farmers, manufacturing workers, union members, educators. I am struggling more today than I was 11 months ago, and I'm struggling more with every passing month. That is not a situation where Trump can show up to Pennsylvania and go, it's an affordability hoax, it's a scam, it's a con job, we fixed everything. This is why. You take that reality, you take the economic numbers when we get them, and remember, if they were good, they'd be releasing them from the administration. And you take these incredible leftward shifts in Miami yesterday, in House races, in gubernatorial races. You put it all together, Republicans could lose 70 seats in the House of Representatives next year. I am counting no chickens before they hatch, but it is a plausible scenario that we have to work to make a reality. Now, on the bonus show today, we are going to look at what's going on with the boat strike probe in the House of Representatives. I'll give you a preview. It's not great. We will talk about some AI pricing experiments that Instacart is doing, which some are furious about, and much more. We've got a phenomenal bonus show for you today. Sign up at joinpakman.com. I'll see you then. A lot of people think identity theft is something that only happens when someone hacks into your account, but the truth is that it usually starts with your personal information being posted online by data brokers where anybody can find it. Our sponsor, Incogni, is a service that helps protect your privacy by forcing the data brokers to delete your information. This includes your name, address, phone number, even sensitive things like property records or your political affiliation. And now with their custom removals feature included in the unlimited plan, you're not limited to just the list of 250 plus brokers they work with by default. If you find any site exposing any of your private information, even one they've never seen before, you can send a link and Incogni's team will work to get that removed. This is serious protection for you and your family against identity theft, against fraud, doxing, harassment, and Incogni's data removal process is the only one independently verified by Deloitte. Get 60% off an annual plan when you visit incogni.com/Pakman and use the code Pakman. The link is in the description.